we had to, over Thanksgiving, we're coming back from Orange County, and we had to stop at a supercharger in I don't know, it was somewhere. It was like in Whittier or something.
Sure.
And the there's nothing there. It was kind of in the morning, and then there was a Target. So we went and we walked over to the Target, and she's buying some stuff or whatever. And I grabbed a set of LED like stick lights that they're like computer backlighting, right?
Yeah,
but I was like, oh, we could put it back here and it'll light the wall and it'll look like a lot better. And so I put it in the cart, and the kids are all shopping, whatever. And I'm like, we gotta go. We gotta book it right now. So I go run to the car. I'm like, I'm gonna get the car and I'm gonna come back. And I come back. And I park the car and I'm waiting for her. She brings the shopping cart. We're unloading everything. I'm like, where's the LED light? She goes, oh, that was yours? I'm like, yeah, that was mine. I put it in the cart. And she's like, oh, I was just wondering. I'm like, who the hell would put this in my cart right now? And she just took it out and I'm like,
well, that's not on her, because you didn't communicate to her before you left that was going to be yours.
You think stuff just magically pops into your cart?
Absolutely. People put random ass shit inside people's carts all the time.
It's Target. She could return it. She could have called me and said, hey, is this yours?
I think
Target is good.
I think the onus is on Kevin at this point. I mean, for the girlies.
I think that's a very girly thing to say. And
I'm proud. Look, I came in here knowing that I will bring some contentious heat, and I think that you should have communicated to her, and it would have saved so much.
You're about to get attacked right now.
Oh, okay. Come at me.
No,
Try.
Look, my opinion would be like, okay, she went and said, hey, to my son. She goes, Noah, did you put this in the cart? And he goes, no. Who else is it gonna be that puts computer stuff in a cart? So all she had to do was pick up her phone and go, hey, did you put this in the cart? And then all would have been fine in the world.
No, I think you should have communicated. Then
why could she not communicate it to me?
You're the one who put it in the cart.
She doesn't tell me every single thing that goes in the cart.
Doesn't matter. You put stuff in the cart. She didn't put that in the cart. So you should have told her, hey, I'm going to run real quick. This is yours.
So this is mine. Because I did her the favor of bringing the car away from 10 blocks.
So now you want validation for bringing a cart into Target?
No.
This is great podcast.
The bar is so low, guys.
No. I was thinking of her and making sure that for her comfort, I would go to the car, which was at the charging station, which was far away, and bring the car all the way back to the front of the store for her convenience. So we didn't have to haul all that stuff back to the car, and then I get greeted with that.
Just communicate.
I think that's common sense, Jane. I think that one's common sense.
I think you're making it into your own story, victimizing yourself.
Hold on, let's flip this around.
Let's have fun with this.
Yeah.
Wow, we're only 3 minutes in.
I know, but I just want to flip this around. This is important.
There is no flipping around when it comes to women and men, right? Because the standard is already so different that we're already at a disadvantage.
I'm talking about this particular situation. If she had put a throw pillow inside the cart, and then she's like, hey, I'm going to go run and get the car and I'll bring it back to you. But she didn't tell me that she explicitly had put a throw pillow in the car. And I took that throw pillow and I put it back. Not maliciously, but because I don't want her to buy a throw pillow, but because I wasn't sure if it was hers or not. Instead of asking her, "Hey, did you put a throw pillow in the car or in the cart?" Because I don't know whose this is, I just decided to put it back, and then I don't find out till we're already gone from the store. Is that okay?
So, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Was putting that equipment an anomaly? Is that something you normally do?
I would, if I bought
yes
something.
Yes or no?
If I bought something, if we're at Target and I wanted something and I just picked it up and I put it in the cart, I would. Yes, that's normal. It's not normal. It's not an unusual thing for me to put something in the cart. So you're usually getting
backlit lighting at Target on a regular basis. That's what you're saying. Because it's a substantial product, right?
We have, on the last several visits, have visited the electronics section of Target and walked through some clearance things, and I have picked things up and put them in the cart before.
I just think that in this situation, if you had communicated, it would have saved you so much trouble, and now you would have wonderful backlighting, but you don't.
I think
you started with Sarah jacked me. And so that raises an alarm for me of, whoa, what happened here? In this situation, I'm on Sarah's side.
This is going to be the best podcast ever.
You guys are, I came into it, I was like, should I be a little bit more chilled out? Should I not bring so much heat?
No, you should not. You should bring all the heat. I like to come in hot. All the heat.
All the heat.
Because, you know what? And I had a feeling that because No. Because I'm like super opinionated in one way.
Yeah.
And I'm like always think I'm right.
Yeah.
And then and I know that you're fiery.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh, this is gonna be good.
It's gonna be good.
And it's not gonna be because of any of the
gonna be
cool like fun stuff that you do for work or any of that stuff.
No.
It's gonna be because of boy girl things.
That's what we're talking about here.
Boy girl
This
things.
is supposed to be a general business podcast, but it's slowly becoming. We just talk about ramen and food, and apparently male-female dynamics.
Yeah, it's important.
You know what? These are controversial
That's true.
things that people like to hear.
Let's talk about it.
And you know what? If you post that and go, who's at fault here? You're going to end up with just a slew of things from both sides.
That's true.
And everybody's going to get their own person's back. So
Okay.
it's fine.
Okay, we'll see.
Maybe we should give that one up.
Yeah.
We'll just talk about something else.
Well, we can before just getting into spicier topics, we can cover at a ground level who our guest
Yes.
who our guest is
Camera
today.
supposed to look-
Hygiene.
Oh, you can look at all.
You can look
Okay.
at
Yeah.
better.
One,
you
two,
can just
three, two.
yeah. We can just look kind of
Okay.
generally at each
Okay.
other's
I have
fine.
to look at Kevin's face.
Or
for the
Alan.
next
You can
20,
turn. You can
45
turn. You can turn to
minutes?
Alan.
Jeez.
I'm normally here for color commentary.
Hey, I actually like cleaned up my beard yesterday, so you're good.
Wow.
You don't have to stare. At
We
the
have a
shaggy
esteemed guest
beard.
today. That's why.
Yeah.
You let the dogs out though.
I never wear shoes. I wear shoes.
Oh, is that what you say?
what?
Letting the dogs
Letting the
out.
dogs out when you wear sandals.
You know how dry my feet are because I only wear
You
sandals.
need moisturizer, like badly.
You know what? I've gone to like I did a pedicure like a while, maybe a couple months ago with Sarah. We went together and we did pedicure, and she just got her nails done, whatever. And then like, first of all, she's like, "You need the royal treatment," and it was $100 or something. And they put the wax on there. They like scrape your foot with like a cheese grater. You know?
Cheese grater.
You know what I'm talking about, right? Like the bottom of your foot. They get all the dry stuff off.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
gross, by the way. Like my feet, gross. Girls,
Yeah, they
probably
look
not
pretty
big deal.
gnarly. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It's years of basketball and like sports shoes
There's
and
no
stuff
excuse,
like that
man.
for all that stuff.
This guy
But
likes to make up a lot of excuses. You moisturize every day and you're good.
no, it's too much work.
My feet are probably
My
just as
legs
bad.
are also
Well, at least
super
you have
dry.
them covered.
Yeah.
My legs are also super dry. And I'm really stingy with lotion. Are you stingy with lotion?
Not with my kids. For me, I am.
When I put lotion, I put like a tiny little pump and I get my face and my forearms, and that's like all the lotion I have. Meanwhile, like, you know, my kids or Sarah, they're just like
Yeah,
all
I
over
can
the
tell.
place. Yeah, I can't. If I was wearing shorts, you'd be like, those are some ashy ass
thank
legs.
you for saving me that.
Is Kevin well moisturized?
Not on my
he
feet.
is.
Not on my
Yeah.
feet.
Oh, are you talking about my Kevin?
Oh, you're
Yeah,
Kevin.
yeah. He has a full skincare regimen.
Yeah, he looks like someone who takes care of himself.
That's
Yeah.
true.
You know?
He does have really clean skin. Now that I think about it.
Yeah.
I have very
Okay, we don't need to talk about your skin anymore.
very little patience for
Fine.
that stuff myself. How about you? How long does it take you to get out of the house in the morning? If
It takes
if
me
you go
like
full thing?
2 minutes. But if I'm doing the full thing, it'll take me probably like 25, 30 minutes.
Oh, that's good.
That's
I'm
not bad.
very
That's really
efficient.
fast.
I have to be efficient, right? Like
Yeah.
having, you know, a lot of moving parts. You just kind of have to run out the door. But for me, it's a pretty simple skincare routine. And then I usually don't wear makeup unless I'm doing something for work. So.
Oh, good. That's pretty good. Like none?
That's really
nothing?
No, literally. I mean, you see me. Like, I'm literally never wearing makeup. Yeah.
That's
Oh,
true.
That's good. I mean,
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with it. I just like don't have
well, it's
like I'm
probably
running out the
it's probably
door.
better for your skin too, right?
It lets
to
it
not,
breathe a
to
little
not
bit.
really wear
yeah.
makeup all the time.
Yeah, for sure.
I think Sarah's got a pretty light makeup regimen. She's just like a little eyeliner or something, and she's out of the house. which
What
is
else
not
does
bad.
she do?
I don't know. Freaking A, man. I don't keep track. She looks pretty all the time.
Oh, that's
Does it?
good. Good
Yeah.
job. You
She
just
looks,
got a
She
point.
looks good without makeup.
That's good.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't really particularly find when I was watching was she watching Selling Sunset, right?
Yeah.
And you know
Love
they have
that
the HD cameras and the lights
For
on, and you
sure.
got to put some foundation on
For
so you don't
sure.
you don't shine, right? But these girls have got another face on their face, and you can tell because it doesn't look like skin anymore. It just looks like a layer of makeup, and I'm like, I'm sure they're all very good looking without all of that, but I mean they really like they don't want you to see any flaws in their skin when they're on that show. It's
TV
kind of
makeup
gross
is-
actually.
Yeah.
It's kind of gross. I mean, if I saw it in person, I'd be like, "Wow, that's a lot of makeup." Like,
Yeah,
I wonder
kinda gross, like
I
your
wonder what's
toes.
under there. My toes are disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? And you know what?
Back to the toes.
Everybody gets to see.
I have
them.
to look at it like the next 40 minutes.
I'm telling you, I only wear shoes for basically for golf and basketball and weddings. Otherwise, you're not getting shoes. I wear sandals every day.
That's not true. You came into work last week.
Oh, sorry. I had to go to PT.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah.
Got
So
it.
if it's sports, let's call it sports or like exercise or weddings.
Okay.
That's it. I like my toes. My toes like to breathe. They don't like socks.
Do Crocs count as letting the dogs out?
No, because you can't see.
They cover up your toes. Oh, it's like lingerie though. Covers up, leaves some mystery.
I've never heard of that.
Crocs being
it's toe
lingerie.
Toe lingerie. It's like just leaves just enough to the imagination. You can kind of see through them.
Right.
Well, I have socks on. I like wearing socks with my Crocs actually. It's just comfy.
Well, because then they get all sweaty if you don't put socks on.
That's true, but Crocs are great for that too. They dry fast.
Still seems kind of gross.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway,
let's talk about more important topics in Crocs.
Hi.
So Alan says you're doing new work with Pack Arts.
I am.
What is Pack Arts exactly?
So Pacific Arts Movement is the nonprofit that presents the San Diego Asian Film Festival. So every year, it's been 25 years now. So next year we're going to have like a huge, festival, gala, and all of the sorts. And so, I was an intern in 2010, and I have always loved it and supported it, and then I kind of started getting back in during the spring showcase in April, and I was like, hey, I want to get involved. Started working with their videographer to interview people and kind of create more content, and so kind of been building my career back up after having a kid. And then now, they just asked me to be a board member, so I'm super excited, and ready to bring a little bit of excitement and energy to an organization that definitely deserves it. Right? It's before all of this, was kind of cool. It's been around, and it's actually the largest showcase of Asian cinema in all of the Western United States. So it needs a little bit more spotlight. And so, I'm so excited to be part of it.
Is Leanne Kim still doing anything with them?
So she's always attending events and always chairing different things. She's definitely the foundation, she's the founder of the entire org, and so I think she always has an incredible legacy with us. But she's also doing a million other things. She has Ajuma XP and all kinds of stuff, and she's teaching yoga.
What is Ajuma XP?
Ajuma XP, I mean, I can't fully speak to it because I only know, I've only seen the videos, but I think my understanding is Korean American women come together and they just create a fun community where they do flash mobs, and I think they've done it at Zion Market.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know she was in charge of that.
Yeah, I mean, she started it. So, I mean, she's one of those people that just creates and makes something for the community.
Yeah.
She's my mayor.
She was cool.
Truly.
Do you know who she is?
No idea.
She was she was a news anchor back in the day. She's the hero of all Korean Asian American women down here, man.
What's her name?
Leanne Kim.
I'll look her up.
Yeah.
Leeann.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was cool. I knew her back in the day. Really nice, great personality, and but she's one of the pioneers, of Asian women on TV.
Definitely. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm super excited to be working with her, and so. Yeah.
So what's the best part about your new involvement with Pack Arts?
I think building on the momentum, right? After COVID and all these things, there was just a little bit of a lull, and it's harder for a nonprofit to kind of pick up after all of that. But this 24th San Diego Asian Film Festival really proved, I think, that people are excited. They're watching. I mean, we could, at one of the screenings, they had to ask people to leave because it was a fire hazard. There were so many people.
Yeah.
And so, it's exciting. I think this is a time to really where people are excited about representation in cinema, but also not just that, just the excitement and surrounding buzz of being out and about and enjoying things together. And so coming into 25th, the silver anniversary, I think that's going to be really, really great, and a lot of hype is going to be around it.
Yeah. Are you seeing any sort of big uptick in interest with Korean and Asian American cinema, just based on all of the new Netflix stuff that's been coming out, the bigger awareness of especially Korean stuff? I mean, are you seeing that?
Yeah, I mean, I think people are for me, if the work is good, then people will watch it, regardless of who's in it. And like, once we move past that conversation of like, well, there's an Asian in it, and so I need to support it, and actually being like, this is actually really good work. Like Past Lives, for example, A24 film. Celine Song, she's the director of it, and she literally was her first film. Incredible, with Greta Lee. And I saw it and I was like, this is just great art, you know. And you know about movies, like this guy watches like everything under the sun, but they just won the Gotham Award for Best Feature like yesterday. And so I think we're moving past like, not that Asian representation is something that we move past from, but it's like we want to continue to fill up those spaces so it becomes so normalized, you know. And we want to be able to see people like us on screen, but also like not have it even be a thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about that, and I think we're moving in that direction slowly but surely.
Yeah, I mean, there have been now like a handful of Asian movies that have been, you know, mainstream, and I think people are just watching them because they're good movies, right?
Yeah.
Crazy Rich Asians was one that was just like, oh wow, there's just a lot of Asian people in here, and it's literally an Asian movie.
Yeah.
And it just blew up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think we're going to continue in the right direction, and I think with any movement, there's always going to be like a few steps forward and a few steps back.
Yeah.
But you know, I think we are really, really excited, and I think it'll just get better from here, hopefully.
That's awesome. So this is the 24th year this year.
Yeah, this year is the 24th. We're going into the 25th.
When is the film festival?
It's usually in November, like in the fall.
Yeah.
So we just wrapped up like a month
just
ago.
Finished up.
Yeah, it was really great.
I'm a bad Asian. I missed that thing.
Oh, no, that doesn't make you a bad Asian. You've done a lot of things.
We're fake Koreans. I mean,
Makes us fake.
I saw that. No, I think, especially even what you're doing, like I know I give you a lot of crap earlier on, but it's not just about like going to Asian cinema that makes you a quote unquote good Asian. Like you've been part of the community, and you've been investing in the community for years and years now, decades at this point, I think. Like what I want to hear about your contributions too, because you have an indelible impact on San Diego, especially in Convoy Asian Cultural District.
Yeah, indelible is a big word. I only half know what that means. No, I don't know. I don't think like me in particular, my involvement has not been that big. You know, my family, my dad, my brother, even my mom, you know, to a certain degree, they've been so involved in the Korean markets between here in Orange County and LA, Atlanta now, Dallas, and you know, so they've made a huge impact just being in the community for so long. I mean, Zion Market's been here since basically the first Koreans had started immigrating this way, like in the late 70s. Obviously there were Koreans who had immigrated before that, but that was kind of when the big rush, the big influx of Koreans to San Diego was like mid 70s through even up to like 2000. You know, there were tons of Koreans coming into San Diego, and LA obviously was well before that. But you know, they work so hard to you know, to just serve the community and make sure that the Korean people feel welcome, and they're, you know, they've got a place to be comfortable. And I think it's cool that now actually the markets are so much have globalized so much. You know, you see a lot more non-Korean people, non-Japanese people inside the market. I mean, we've got on Convoy, we've got Zion Market, we've got H Mart, we've got Mitsuwa, we've got Nijia Market, you know, like we got Ranch 99. Just so much like Asian culture in one area. It's really cool to see, you know, not just Korean stuff, but just, you know, just Asian culture down here. And like with the Convoy District people, have you met any of them before?
Yeah, you mean
like Wesley and those guys?
Yeah.
You know, they're working so hard to just, you know, create this hub where we can be just proud to be Asian, and bring that culture to everybody to come in and see what we're all about. I think that's been amazing. For me, like my involvement now is a little bit bigger because we're creating this new development here on site where we're going to move Zion Market. We're going to create a culinary hub down here that's, you know, pretty much all Asian food.
Oh, wow.
I can't really mention who's coming in yet because we've only got a few leases signed, and kind of the major people have not quite signed yet, but they're really close.
Okay.
And then and I'm doing this cool rooftop market, night market. That's gonna be awesome. So
oh my gosh.
We're doing like a speakeasy food hall, full bar event center. We're gonna have one high-end restaurant that I was gonna do, but I don't know if I'm just gonna lease that out anymore. Little bit of retail up there, but what I want to do is really create a cool experience. I have a few ideas on who I'm gonna bring in. I really want to bring Asian culture forward, food culture especially through this food hall. I don't want it to just be kind of like a crappy food hall that you put together and just rent out to vendors. Like, we really want some control over how we curate the tenant mix, what kind of restaurateurs we put in there, what kind of food we show off. And hopefully what it'll do is it'll bring people just to Convoy from all over the place so they can experience all of what we have to offer out here. You know, there's even our friends who do like cross street chicken, pho dun mai, like Friend's House, you know, like tons of restaurants over here, right? Like, we want people to come and explore and then just create this sense of appreciation for the Asian culture and for food. And I know that people are already doing that because there's zero parking on Convoy anytime you come out here.
It's a good
like,
problem.
Yeah, like I avoid shopping centers just because you can't park there. Like, you just go around in circles and end up parking 3 blocks over. But yeah, man, there's hopefully this will help bring awareness to what we're doing. And then you know, if through that we can support Pack Arts, we can support other Asian organizations. I think that would be a great opportunity, you know, for us to just, you know, be involved. And I think like Asian people in general, like especially immigrants, and so this is my dad's generation, are big on philanthropy in certain ways. But then they're not like the type who are gonna like even support like a little league team for a few $100.
Right,
you know,
right,
like
right.
Zion Market's a pretty big company, but it's like if you brought a little league team, we're like, hey, can you give us a couple of that? No, we don't do that. You know, even like the film festival at the beginning, it's like, yeah, we'll support you. Like, will you give us money? No, right? Like, we don't do that right now.
Right.
But then when it comes to church, it's like, take all my money. You know, missions and orphanages and all that stuff. Like, you know, just incredibly generous.
Yeah.
But it's just the weirdest thing when it comes to like supporting the arts and supporting culture in here. Like, they're very tight pocketed about it.
Yeah.
All Asians.
All of them. No, I'm just kidding.
All Asians. Blanket statements. I only make blanket statements.
Where are you at in that? Like, where do you see philanthropic vision for yourself?
Yeah, you know, I think we had this conversation with I can't remember who I talked to. Philanthropy is really tough if it's not just if it's not at the forefront of what you do. So as a business owner, yeah, sure, I'll help donate and, you know, give little things here. But then to have like a philanthropic mission, it's you know, I still feel like I have this scarcity mindset all the time where I'm like, oh man, I can't do that because we still have to grow the business and we still have to grow the business. There's so much more to do. I'm like, when does that end? And so even when it comes to like tithing at church or supporting an orphanage or donating to Pack Arts or something like that, right? If those things aren't at the forefront of who you are as a business person or just as a person, it's really hard to do. And so I've been trying to make a more concerted effort recently to just, you know, try and understand that like that money that I have is not even mine. You know, we're stewards of that money, and though we're tasked to grow it and continue to expand on that, we're also tasked to give, and it's still really hard.
Yeah, sure.
There's no good answer.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
It's
I
not
appreciate the honesty.
Yeah, and I think if it's easy, maybe you're not giving enough. You know, but yeah, it's really tough. You know, I don't know how you feel about it, but it's just, you know, no matter how much money you have, like I feel like if it's got to be just what you do.
Yeah, I think it's always harder if your ownership in it and your stake in it is so much greater.
Yeah.
I think I come from my parents who provided me a very comfortable life, and so it's easy for me to be like, oh yeah, like why wouldn't you give? Why wouldn't you, you know, help a nonprofit and things like that. But the older I get, the more I understand it's harder to take out from what you're trying to invest and grow in your own business. And I do have like sympathy for that, and I understand that. I generally in my life try to lean more on the generous side, just because I think that when like if you help someone out, then usually like it really benefits everyone else around you, and creating like a more equitable society. I think that's always at the forefront of my mind. But I also understand as I get older and wiser how difficult and challenging that is for people, and especially in this kind of state that we're in our economy and all of these things. You know, it's really difficult to ask people to, you know, open up their wallets. That said, it doesn't mean I'm gonna be like, well, then I'm not going to ask people or whatever. But it is something that I do want to kind of press into and ask people about, to understand more. And yeah, especially as a business owner, I can definitely sympathize with that. Yeah.
You know, what's interesting for me is like, I think when it comes to giving, there's so many different ways to do it too.
Right.
Whether you give your time, if it's just advice to somebody, or, you know, give an ear to somebody to listen to, like that's still philanthropy at a certain degree, right? It doesn't always have to be financial.
Sure.
And I think some people also have a hard time with donating to bigger organizations because they don't know where that money's going. They don't see the fruits of what they're doing. So like if you give $100 to, you know, I don't know, ABC organization, right? How much of that money is really reaching the end person? And then do you actually ever feel that your donation made a difference? Like one of those World Hunger places, they'll be like, yeah, give like $100, you can feed 10,000 people a meal. It's like, well, I never see that these people are eating the food that we donate to them, and I don't feel the impact of what I'm doing. But then if, like for me, what I like to do a lot is like sometimes we'll go to a restaurant or something and I'll see like a young couple with a little kid, and I'm like, man, I remember what that was like. I'll buy their dinner, you know. Or the other day I went to get a haircut, and it's like a $50 haircut, $40 haircut. I gave the girl like $100, right? Extra $50 tip. And because she was talking about like, hey, I've got some stuff going on, blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
And like that kind of impact, I'm like, this is helping somebody. I get to see that it's helping somebody. I know exactly where it's going. And that's more comfortable for me to do. And I might do that, once a month or a couple times a month when I see somebody who I can actually help there. And I enjoy doing that. It's a little selfish. It makes you feel good that you help somebody out. I try to do it more anonymously, like when you're at a restaurant, so I don't want to be like, hey, tell them I bought them dinner. That's kind of stupid. But no, but I think like that makes that kind of impact makes me feel good. And
sure.
But now like the thing I struggle with the most is when I see peddlers, like, people who are on the street asking for money straight up. I don't know why I can't give those guys anything. It kills me because I've seen the guys who have I've actually watched a guy in Mira Mesa once on the corner pack up their stuff, go up into a parking lot, and then drive out in a Mercedes. And I was like, I can't do it.
I think that's the hard part. Because I'm not going to be like black and white about it of like, if I see a peddler, then like definitely not, because then you're kind of blanketing for everyone else who's actually coming out there that doesn't have the means, right? And is really like, that's going to be their next meal, whatever.
Yeah.
I think that can be a little bit dangerous to head into, because now no one is ever going to help, and that could have been their last leg. And I also think that like, when people go like, oh, well, like if you give them money, then they're going to do drugs. Like, well, like it seems like life really is not that fun anyway. So why is it why do we decide what they do with that money? Like, I don't think that we have a say in that at the end of the day. Like, when it comes to nonprofits and things like that, I think there should be always full transparency of how much percentage goes to admin, how much percentage goes to, the actual person that's, that needs it.
For sure.
Those things are fully required in order for me to assess whether or not I want to give that to that org. And I also really relate to what you're talking about of like, it's those moments where people are like, dude, like it's tight right now. Like things are happening, like medical bills and all these things usually happen all at the same time. And so kind of just that moment of human connection of like, hey, like I got a little extra, let's share, you know? And I think that's really beautiful. And I think that is, I don't even like to use the word philanthropy. I think that's just being human. I think that's being very connected as a human being. And yes, like the benefit for you is like, I feel better about myself. And that's usually, there's science tied to, you know, what giving and generosity does to your brain and your mind. And so all great on that. But I think we need to be careful about how we just kind of go like, well, that guy is definitely a scam artist, so therefore we should never give. You know?
It's 100%, and I just that's just become kind of my philosophy on that. Yeah, you know, I would never judge anybody, right? Like that, everybody has different stuff going on. Mm-hmm. But it's the act for me, the act of asking for money blatantly without. It's hard because like. I'll see like sometimes there's people who bring their kids out now to the corner and they're just sitting there begging for money. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, dude. Like now that's just, you're just trying to guilt trip people into giving you money at this point. And as bad as it sounds, like I'm judging those people, which is terrible, right? We're having this whole discussion, but it's like, why are you gonna go and like now bring your kids into this situation where you're trying to peddle for money? Like, if you're well enough to think for yourself that if I bring my kids out here that I'm going to be able to go and get more money by begging on the street corner for that money, then you're probably in a good enough state of mind to try and get a job. And I know I know we're on opposite spectrums on this, and I know that you have like big thoughts about it. To me, it kills me because I have little kids and I'm like, I wouldn't want to, even if we were so hungry, it's like, I feel like there's some exploitation going on there of your own kids, and I just don't think that's right.
Okay. I think maybe we can move on from this conversation just because it's like a never-ending thing. Well, I know, very nuanced.
I would just like to hear your thoughts on that particular thing because I'm curious, because I see it one very, like, to me it's, I know it's maybe not black and white, but to me I just feel like there's no reason to do that.
I mean, if you've never been in that situation, this is like my rule of thumb, is if you've never been in that situation, I don't think it's fair for us to speak on it, like, period. If you've never, like, not saying that, you know, that's justifiable, then we can get into the conversation of people who put their kids on social media. Like, if you're putting your kids who are underage on social media for monetary or financial benefit, that's like, how is that just because they have money it's okay and acceptable? Like, it's this idea of like, what is exploitation in that sense of like, well, that person is standing there and again, not saying that that's good or that's, I'm not quite sure where I stand on all of it. Yeah. Because I've never been in that situation. I've never been at a place where I had nothing left and I had to take my kids to beg for money. That's not something that I can speak on. But what I will say is, like, if we're going to be talking about that, then we have to give the same heat to the people who are always putting their kids on social media, knowing that there's all these predators out there and still benefiting from it, whether it's through views or whatever.
I think that's really fair. I think that's a fair argument to make. So okay. I'm glad you brought that up because, you know,
next page.
Yeah. I'm telling you from the very beginning when we sat down, there's no like judgment here, right? He just said that he judges. No. I mean, between you and
we
me.
all judge.
No, but between you and me, like there's no judgment about our thoughts, right? It's just trying to see the other point of view because I know that I see the world in a very different lens than a lot of people, and so do you, right? Yeah, definitely. And so it's good to just air it out and talk about it and be civil about it and try and understand what the other person sees, as opposed to what a lot of people do now, which is just straight up condemn you for stuff, right? Which I just did, by the way. But
he's self-aware enough to say that. There's no condemnation here. I think for me, it's just challenging certain viewpoints with some stats and some like realistic analogies, because I think we kind of stay in our own little echo chamber sometimes.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm definitely like that too. Like I've and I think a lot of Americans especially like have done this where you stand on one side of the fence, and anything that's on the other side of the fence, you're like, that is terrible. I will never agree with you on that. And I think that's probably not fair to the other side. It's good to understand and then go. And what's interesting is like you see a lot of conversations, even on social media and stuff, where you have somebody from like, let's just go from like politically from the left, and then someone from the right, and then you realize that if they like sit down face to face like this and have a conversation, that most people are a lot more moderate than they think they are. Than the stance that they've taken, where it's like, oh yeah, I get you, that makes sense, and then oh yeah, I get you, that makes some sense. Maybe we're not that far apart. And then you got the people on the other wings who are just falling off the edges, which I don't agree with either side on. It's like, hey, there's compromise. What, Jane, are you saying you're falling off the left side?
No, I'm just taking deep breaths. No, it's fine. It's fine. So how is everything else? I'm sweating.
But why is it hot in here? It's normally cold.
It's a little hot. I think the lighting, but it's fine.
It's the hot topic questions.
Yeah, it's
I'm just now I'm curious why it's so hard to talk about.
It's not hard to talk about. It's kind of, again, I think.
And by the way, we can cut out any of this stuff, so don't worry about your job being
yeah, we're not live.
At all.
No, it's not that. I think because what I'm hearing from you is, correct me if I'm wrong, is we should all be a little bit more in the middle and learn to see each other's perspectives, and I can respect. Learn to understand each other's perspectives and to kind of humanize the other person. I think I can agree with you up to that point. I think by your saying we're all a little bit more moderate, we should be a little bit more moderate, and all the people on the fringes are, kind of whatever you want to call them.
I will call them wahoos. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Okay. So yeah, I think that's where I want to kind of
tread more lightly.
Yeah, because there are certain things where I would just not agree with, period. Being on a certain side, and vice versa, I'm sure the other person would think the same. And so we could save the politics for next year.
But no, I'm not talking about like any individual topic. Mm-hmm. You can take a hard stance if you've researched and you decide that this is where I want to be.
Yeah. I
think any individual topic you can be on wherever side you want. I think overall, as in your entire being, I would probably guess that people are more have more malleable views once they get more information, right? There's certain stuff we're not going to talk about here, like abortion per se, where you're just gonna a lot of people are just like here and here, mm-hmm. right? And that's fine. Every opinion is valid, and I think more so it becomes more valid if you have done a lot of research and you formed your thoughts, and you're not just looking at TikTok videos and deciding that you like the one, so that's the right thing to do, right? And I'm completely okay with that. I think that you should be able to formulate all your own opinions and sit wherever you want on the spectrum of stuff. What sometimes gets me is that I feel like, especially at this point, the younger generation, the social media generation, it's you see stuff online that might not be 100% true, and you only see certain facts, and then those judgments are being made, and then you refuse to listen to the other side. That's the hard part for me, is when you refuse to listen to what the other.
So now that you brought up social media, and now that you brought up Gen Z and Gen Alpha, I do have to kind of defend them, because one, TikTok actually has democratized information in such a way that is incredibly beneficial to to Generation Z, Generation Alpha, and other millennials and such who are on it. I think there's always, every generation, there's a demonization of what the next generation is doing with technology, especially with digital natives such as ourselves, right? We got crap from boomers. What are you, Gen X? Are you millennial or Gen X?
You can. I don't know. I think
you can technically pick.
I'm on the line.
Okay,
Yeah. Right
so like
I'm 40 something. That's what
Gen
I
X. Gen X gets so much stuff because you guys are mostly forgotten, but you guys work incredibly hard, and there's a lot of like unnoticed things about your guys' generation. Millennials get a lot of crap from boomers, especially for, I don't know, not having the same work ethic or whatever. And then it's like the same kind of thing always repeats every generation. And when we kind of start to go, okay, well, these kids on their phones with their social media, we're turning exactly into the people that made fun of us and that really didn't see the benefits and how it's changing the culture entirely, right? These kids are living and breathing in these worlds, and we have to really engage with that and not make it seem like this is so bad for them and they don't know how to formulate their own opinions. That will happen in every scenario. Like, have you never read something on Facebook and said, oh wow, like
don't
that
use
happened.
Facebook. I'm too young for that.
What do you use? Instagram? I'm sure you've read something, even if it in regards to sports or whatever, that you thought was true because it was on Instagram or Facebook. Yeah. It's the same thing.
And I'm saying we just have to be have to be careful on the information we consume.
We as it like
no, everybody population. As a population, the amount of
you said these young kids and their social media.
But it's because they're I feel like the younger generation has grown up only knowing social media, right? Because when I grew up, I'm not even that old, but like the internet basically didn't exist for the mass population until I was in like middle school or high school. And then even then it was like AOL and chat rooms and stuff. That was like the limit of all that stuff. And that was dangerous in itself, right? And not until Facebook and like what was that other one? MySpace and stuff like that came out when we were in college. That was kind of, the infancy of social media, right? And so I didn't grow up with that. And what we grew up with was, I guess we had to look a little harder for information. And now you still have to vet all that stuff. Like, you just assume that what's in an encyclopedia is right, and most of the time it was factually accurate, but things change, right? People discover new things. In social media, anybody can say whatever they want and then just post it online. Like, I say some dumb stuff that might not be true.
No, I understand. Right? I know that you do.
So it's you're the best. But then trying what I'm saying is that that we need to all be more careful about trying to discern the truth for ourselves. And
I agree wholeheartedly that we should have discernment and all of those things. When people generally come in with like the whole these kids with their social media and stuff like that, it is kind of frustrating because they don't understand how these children are actually benefiting from it. And also, yes, there's going to be downsides to every platform. There's going to be downsides to their mental health, all of these things. But it is an incredible tool that these kids are using.
For sure.
And it's pretty inspiring, and it's creating a movement and empowering these children. Like, they range, right? It could be 18 and up, right? Now Gen Z is about probably like 20 something at this point. They've all been equipped to understand the world in a way that we couldn't when we had that one history book that it described this one history event a certain way. 1,000%. They are able to challenge it because the democratization of information.
And I agree with you wholeheartedly on all that stuff.
Okay.
But it is also the job of the older generations, as it has been in history forever and ever.
Is it though?
No, to do their best to try and protect and educate
definitely
the younger generation. Always. Now, like, think about where you are now, and I don't know if you're exactly like, not everybody does the same thing. When I was 16 to age 25, I said my parents are idiots. They don't know anything. They don't know me. They don't know anything I'm going through. None of that stuff. And then I turned like 30 and I have kids. And I'm like, holy crap. My parents are so smart. They know exactly what I'm going through. they went through the exact same thing, and they were like so much more mature than I was when I was at this age, because I still think I'm a kid. And now that I'm in my 40s, I'm like, my little kids are a bunch of idiots, and I need to protect them. And I need to educate them and show them how the world really works, because I've done it before. And then when they turn 13, 14, 15, they're going to say, my parents are idiots. They don't know what they're talking about. I can't believe how dumb they are. They don't know anything about social media or whatever, where I'm coming from. And then when they turn 30 and they have kids, they're going to do the same thing. And this happens over and over and over again through the course of history. So maybe it's just like in our nature, right, to try and protect and raise our kids in the way that we know. And it's up to them to create what they know and become people, and then do the same thing to their kids over and over again, right? And I think like this whole democratization of information that you're talking about, right? I've never used that term before. I think it's a cool term. It's awesome. It's available. Everything is so readily available to anybody. Like I can just, now there's AI, which is crazy, and that's amazing. But because of the sheer amount of information, and this is a practical example. Like, there's a guy on the internet. He's big on YouTube, like a couple million followers, and Instagram, and all that stuff. And he talks about a certain type of real estate transaction, right? It's a very specific type of real estate transaction, and a lot of the information he puts on the internet is factually accurate. What he does not do is tell you the risk of doing this sort of information, or this sort of transaction. Yeah. And that is very dangerous, because what he's saying is true, but he omits half of the factual information, and leaves you to go and leaves you the impression that what he's doing is going to make you a ton of money. Sure. And then when you go back and if you have the ability to go back and the desire to go back and really research the rest of that, you find out that the pitfalls could just ruin you, right? And that's where I feel like current generation, younger generation, whoever, anybody who's using this stuff has to sometimes be educated on the fact that you have to do more research than what you see this guy doing. Just because he's driving around a Lambo and living in a fancy house and then telling you that I'm going to teach you how to do this doesn't mean that it's without its own pitfalls, right? Sure. And so the way I think we consume social media, to me, it feels like we are, and I fall in this trap a lot. I see something cool and I'm like, oh, that's awesome. I'm going to even food or whatever. Yeah. I'm going to totally do that. Yeah. And then I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should just take a look and see what else is out there. And then I'm like, oh no, never mind. This is terrible, right? Yeah. Shinramen light. Maybe it sounds like
comes back to the ramen.
Maybe sounds like a great idea, but it has 1,800 milligrams of sodium, which is a lot of sodium.
Yes.
Right?
Is that more than the regular one?
No, light has less sodium for sure.
So and we're just playing around on that stuff, but it's like it's healthier.
Yeah.
But still not healthy, because Alan says on the video, he's like, if I knew ramen was healthy, I would eat it 3 times a day or whatever.
Yeah, but I put in the subtitles, I edited it
healthier.
So it says healthier.
Healthier.
That's what it really meant.
We're learning.
Yeah, we're just trying not to spread misinformation here, right? But I
think you should cut out most of what he said today.
So the whole episode is just you talking, pretty much.
I put that down as not factual. It is all my opinion, and based on only the amount of research which I've done, which is probably negligible. And
what I like about Kevin is that he says the dumb shit and then he goes, that was dumb shit, and then he moves on from it. That's very
I don't take myself that seriously.
That's good.
I try to, and I do, in all honesty, I do try and understand everyone's perspective as before we make judgment, right? When I say I'm judging the beggars on the street and stuff like that, I'm not really judging them. What I'm saying though is, as a rule I've made for myself, because of the experiences that I've gone through,
sure,
I don't give those people money. Gotcha. I'd much rather give somebody something that I know that or that I feel like will impact them specifically in a positive way, and that's my choice, right? That's what I think is the better way to utilize the giving that I like to do, right? Okay. That's it.
Yeah.
So Anyway,
Ellen, what's new with you? We haven't heard from you much. This guy takes up the entire conversation.
This is my podcast, bro.
That's how it was supposed to be. But my job just became engineer / co-host with
ramen expert,
color commentary, and ramen expert.
Yeah.
Ramen
Can't believe we talk about
bro.
ramen again today. But yeah, I mean, same old.
Yeah.
I saw you the other day.
I know.
Yeah.
Alan's a good dude. He's one of those guys where first impression may not.
Kevin's not a good.
Wow.
Kevin's not a good dude.
Wow.
Is that the
one doesn't
contrast?
mean like it's not mutually exclusive.
I don't know.
I'm talking about you right now. I don't really know Kevin. I don't know this guy that much, but I've interacted with him and his family over the last several years for sure. And in the beginning, I was like, I don't know about Ellen. I don't know like what his vibe is. Like you're very like social, but also like you say things very bluntly in a way that can be offensive. I can probably list like 10 people who have been offended by you.
Oh yeah.
But
for sure.
That's a much longer list than you think.
100%.
But then I like get to know you and I'm like, this guy's actually pretty solid. He's like a good husband, a good dad, and I think that's very much one of your redeeming qualities. And so I respect you, dude. I do.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah.
People don't realize that I actually am an introvert. Like I like talking to people. I love learning about new perspectives and things like that. But when it's me time, that's like very much how I recharge.
Yeah.
But the no filter thing, I don't know where that came from. I think it's my mom. Like she just speaks her mind.
Yeah.
And I did get a lot better with that, I think, especially since either marriage or having kids.
Probably both.
Yeah, probably both. You're definitely right.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
How's your family, by the way?
I won't talk about my kid, but I mean, like having a kid for the first time is always just going to be like, whoa, what am I doing?
Yeah.
We're good. I mean, what is good? Like we're just doing life and kind of going day by day. But yeah, I mean, I've had my ups and downs for sure. Yeah.
I think that's just parenting in general. It is such a big life change in not only, who you are as a person, because your perspective changes, right? I think inherently.
How many kids do you have?
3.
Boy,
girl. So boy, 10, girl. Okay. 8, 6.
Yeah. And he's gonna start explaining to me what it's like to have kids. Like it's such a like expected situation here. I was like, he's gonna start telling me what.
I'd have
no. I just things. I'm just all I'm saying is things change. Everybody has really different experience with the kids too. Like when our first one was born, some parents like get the baby in their arms like, please give my baby. Oh my God, my life has changed forever. This is great. And she's like, get him away from me. I'm so sick right now. Just I don't want to do I don't want anything to do with him right now. Just for a little bit. I mean, obviously things change, but like at the moment, she's like, why do people think this is such an amazing experience? This sucks. Because she had an allergic reaction to the epidural.
Oh,
and
goodness.
so she was just like throwing up the entire time. It was not a good experience, But
that was with Noah?
Yeah.
I know. Dang.
Dude, it was bad. It was not good.
Yeah.
That sounds awful.
Not a good pregnancy either, man. She was always on something to keep her from throwing up.
I feel that, man.
You just threw up a bunch, didn't she?
She had hyperemesis gravidarum. Like we went to the ER just to get IVs because she couldn't eat. Yeah. So it was rough for sure.
Did you have morning sickness?
Yeah, I was throwing up well into the second trimester.
Oh, you had it bad too.
And then I had I was living in Tokyo and I had birth.
Right.
Like literally, I was like, oh my God, I'm having contractions. And so it's like the middle of the night.
Yeah.
The hospital is closed, but they have like the nighttime ER shift. I know like 3 months worth of Japanese, and I like knock on their door. I was like, "Umaremasu," which is like being born, and like that's all I knew, and so that's how they got me.
That's pretty good. At least you knew that.
I literally was like screaming in the taxi in so much pain, and I was like, I don't know what to say when I get there because most of them like didn't speak English. So I was like, freaking, what do I say? And I just said "being born" in Japanese, and then they were like, oh my gosh, and they let me in. But pregnancy, like birth, delivery, labor, like literally every woman out there, like I don't understand how we get through it. Like there was a time in the middle of labor where I was like, I think I can just die right now. And
Wow.
I would actually be happy because it would be so much less painful. Like I literally was like, God, you can just take me now. It was like hour 17. I'm on like I had no epidural. I was literally just raw pain.
Did you not want the epidural, or they couldn't give it to you?
I think initially it was like, I'm okay without it. And then there was just like complications and stuff. So ultimately ended up doing an emergency C-section. So all of that was for nothing. But the pain is so incredibly like unexplainable that I was like, death is going to be easier than this.
Something a man will never know.
Right. You guys will never know.
For sure.
And then you'll never know what it's like just on a monthly basis of just like having a period and like literally the cycles that go with that. You're really only good hormonally, emotionally, I feel like 5 days out of the month.
Because you're either ramping up for it or coming down from
like, I'm in my luteal phase right now, which
what
I don't
does
even
that mean?
You guys know.
No, I've never heard
right
that
before
word.
you get your period, you become a miserable person and like literally are
so PMS.
No, not necessarily. It's like one of the phases before it happens. So you have like a follicular, you have like, what's the other one? And then you have your luteal, which is the worst. Like you're bloated and you just like, and then you get into the actual menstruation, and then you like
we
really
might not know, but we take the brunt of it every day.
No, you don't. You guys don't, because we are dealing with it on a regular basis. You guys are lucky that you don't have to actually live with that every day.
I live next to it every day.
Well, that's not the same as living with it.
I'm not saying
day.
it's the same. It's another experience. It's just
about
next door.
Which is such a man thing to do.
No. This is a man experience. Yo, this is a man experience.
But nobody asked for your man experience.
Except other men, I guess.
Look.
Are there support groups for that?
Hey, the way.
Oh my! I'm literally about to walk out of here right now.
No. All I'm trying to say is that that end effect of what you guys are going through trickles over to the man's side, because we are living together.
Yeah.
Right? Just like if I'm having a tough time, she gets it too, because it's like I can't just self-contain and be the same person all the time, right? If I get frustrated, if I have things going on, if I get short, like she unfortunately has to feel the effects of that. And naturally, I've lived with my wife for 13 years. It's like when she's in a like hormonally charged state, or I don't know how to describe that, when she is extra that way, she'll just tell me a lot of times. Sometimes it blows up, but she's like, just stay away from me for a while. Like, I don't even want to see your face.
Yeah.
And that
sure.
But that has an effect. But that has an effect on us. And the reason I bring
it's
up,
probably for your benefit though.
Perhaps, but sometimes she doesn't tell me to go away, and then I get it. But the reason I bring it up is because I'm a man, and so I can only speak to it from a man's perspective. And it's not about it is about making it about me, because it's all I know about. I can't tell you how you feel, or you would actually be out of here already. If I was like, well, you should feel this way, then we'd be gone.
No, for sure.
I'm not going to tell my wife, hey, you know what? You should totally act nicer to me when you're on your period. That's not cool.
Yeah.
That's not going to fly. I just go, all right, dude, I'm going to just stay away from you, whatever you want for right now, because I understand that you're not in a position where like you're going to be nice to me, because you know that already. You're not going to be nice to me. So you told me to go away. I'm going to go away. Right. Mm-hmm. And so it kind of hurts me a little bit that you're like, hey, you're just making this about yourself. I can only speak from my perspective. And well, is it should I coddle you and just talk about you the entire time? Like I have no better perspective. If you look
at our conversation, if you actually look, you spoke probably 70% of the time. And so I had the one topic that I could talk about, like as a personal, like as a woman, and you cut it off short to talk about how you feel about it. That's what irks me. When you make it about yourself.
I'm sorry about that.
That's what I meant.
I apologize for that.
So that's the frustration, is like I barely had space to talk through this whole podcast. And now the one thing that is only I can actually speak about without your interruption, you made it about yourself. And so that's why I got frustrated. And I think that says a lot about a man when it's usually like that. It's like dude, like, it's like when a woman gets sick and is like, has taken care of the house and the kids and all these things, and then all of a sudden the guy's like, I'm starting to get what you have. And you're like, I literally like cannot deal with that. You know what I mean?
Like the man cold situation?
The man cold, the man flu, like the man, like, woe is me, when like the brunt of the care is usually put on the woman in those situations. So that said, I apologize for coming out harshly in that sense, but I won't apologize for wanting to take up my own space as a woman in this situation.
I think you have every right to do that. I meant it as more of just an interjection as opposed to hijacking the topic. So I apologize.
Interjections.
Wow.
What? I was
Alan,
we're closing in. We're closing in on an hour.
Okay.
I do love the fact that we're ending just how we started. It's great. I love it. We covered a whole brunt of topics.
Definitely.
Yeah, we did.
Hey,
myself.
are you okay? Do we need a towel?
All right, it's okay.
If I gotta like drink water at very opportune times. Like if Alan says something, I would do the same thing every once in a while.
No, literally, that was such bad timing for me to drink.
Oh, Cameron didn't even catch what happened.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it didn't even catch.
Oh, you're on the wrong
the water
screen,
spill.
bro.
Yeah.
Oh, is it because it's auto shifting?
No, it's not auto right now.
Oh, okay.
Well, cool. This has been something for sure.
That was good.
Well,
it's great.
Look, I mean, we don't know each other that well.
No, it was fun.
But
you guys talked. You guys started off as if you have known each other for a long time. Because
we have known each other for a long time. We just have not like really hung out or anything.
This is the most we've ever talked.
Oh, really?
100%.
Maybe spoken 10 sentences to each other in like the decade.
Oh, what? We just went 0 to 100.
That's what I said. We've known each other for a long time.
Yeah.
We just haven't like known each other.
Yeah.
And just, that's it.
No, it was fun.
Actually, probably spend more time with your husband playing basketball. Not anymore.
He's golfing a bit more.
Is he?
I think a little bit, right?
Man,
Yeah,
I don't want to open up the can of worms about golf. Like my wife and golf is a very sensitive subject.
Well, I mean, I can only imagine it takes up like half your day, and it's like, it's a whole thing.
Okay, last thing. What are your
what is he trying to start now?
No. I'm just curious what your thoughts are on that because
on golfing.
Yeah, because we have our own set of kind of rules with golf, and I'm just curious if you've set any sort of like guidelines because it does take a lot of time.
Yeah.
And so I'm just curious about how you handle that because it's a difficult thing.
Yeah, I mean, I have friends whose husbands or partners will golf like on an addicted level, and she calls it like their mistress. So I think like that when it's getting to that point, that's a huge red flag. For me with Kevin, he hasn't gotten anywhere near that point yet because he's just starting to really learn. But the boundaries that are in place definitely have to be in relation to that person's ability to self-control, and have like really curb those kind of addictive, because it really like golf to me is, my parents are avid golfers. Like they are incredible at it. My mom is like, she will beat any guy on the range. Like she's so good. But I also know that they have the bandwidth for that because they work pretty, flexibly, and they have like a very robust, balanced life. And so I feel like that's like pretty healthy. But if you've got like 3 kids at home and businesses you're running and all these things, and I know that from like a lot of golfers, it's their outlet, and it's such a nuanced sport that you're like constantly trying to get better and constantly trying to better yourself. Like, I respect all of that, but if it's getting to the point where the wife is like, I'm not getting the support and the help that I need at home, then I think that's when you have to self-assess and be like, okay, where can I kind of carve out some time where I'm not necessarily like fully compromising golf, but I can like take out this little thing and maybe put golf in there and like be home by a certain time. At the end of the day, for me, it's like if the wife is unhappy, like that's a big telltale sign of like maybe corrections that need to be made.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like golfing in itself is bad. I think it's a great sport. It's just how you manage it. So for Kevin, like he'll communicate to me and tell me he's going out for driving range, which I know is not for like a whole, 18 yard or 18 hole situation. Yeah. So it's just balancing it all. Yeah.
So may I give you some advice on this?
Advice?
Well, a suggestion on how to do.
Because he asked this time.
Because
you could decline, Jane.
Yeah, you can always decline. But it's I only say because
I didn't even say yes or no yet. He's still talking.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I thought there was a physical cue that it was okay.
Is the physical cue in the room with us right now? Like,
I misread the room.
Okay. Maybe not advice, but like, what are your thoughts on that? I guess.
So, I went through all this because. I mean, I'm in the golf industry too, because and I've been in the golf industry a long time, but we went through a really rough period because I like golf a lot. And golf is inherently just an addictive sport. It's very akin to golf, gambling, where you get this positive, an intermittent positive reinforcement. Like when you hit a really good shot or you make a putt, it makes you feel so good. Yeah. And you hit a lot of bad shots and then you forget about it because it's so good. And so there's this like high. And when someone is learning golf, and it's pretty typical of most people, so I won't generalize, but I think most people go through this cycle where you're really bad and you have an opportunity to quit at that point and you just say, I don't like golf, right? And then once you get past that phase, you start to get better, and you do want to get better at golf. And at a certain point, it becomes addictive no matter what. I've never met a single person who is so in control of golf where like at all times where they go, I'm getting better, but this is where I live and it's okay. I'm just going to play once a month or once every 2 months. I'm going to practice once in a while. Like you want to go so bad. And so we just found it very, and I play more than most because I'm in the industry, right? And I have a little bit more flexibility, but we just made a hard and fast rule that unless it's like a golf trip with the friends, I only play golf during work hours. Not everybody has that flexibility, but she has no say in how many times I play golf, but it doesn't impact our life at home where it's like, if you want to play, you figure out your work schedule and then you play during those times. Sure. A lot of guys don't have that. They have to be, 9 to 5 somewhere. So it's like, I do know it's been successful for a lot of people where you go, hey, look, if you want to play Saturday morning, go out at 6 o'clock, be home by 11, and then we're good. And then we can go to our kids' stuff and do all the things that we're going to do on the weekend together as a family, and do that, once or twice a month, or even if somebody's more flexible, like every Saturday, that's what you get. But don't try and go and add a bunch of stuff to that. And it just helps to make some boundaries that are a little more specific on time, because otherwise, when surprise golf comes up, I get a lot of surprise golf. People are like, hey, you want to go golf? Yes, I do. I'll see you later. Even this weekend, I got invited to play a very nice golf course in Vegas. And I was like, sorry, Sarah. And I just canceled everything we had that weekend. She is not happy about it. Right. But this is one of those like opportunities where I'm like, it's a networking opportunity. It's got a lot of stuff to it. I'm just going to do it. But it makes an impact when surprise golf comes out. So as long as you know that it's going to happen, you're more like likely to be okay with it.
Duly noted. It's about communication, just like how we started. If you had just about communicated,
if I just told her that I was putting that stupid thing in, we would have had a much more friendly podcast. It would have been great.
We came in hot and we left hot.
Oh man. All right. Well, thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
Yes, always a pleasure. Thank you for the koguma, by the way.
Oh, of course.
Oh, yeah.
I will enjoy that thoroughly. I do love koguma.
If you guys don't know, it's so you need to put it in the microwave.
Korean sweet potato action.
It's technically Japanese sweet potato, but like the way
Koreans make it.
Yeah, the way Koreans make it, for sure.
Did you toss it in the oven and?
I did. I do a 2-hour, 400 degrees, so it really gets nice and soft in there. Yeah. So
appreciate that.
Enjoy.
It's koguma with a lot of TLC.
That's a lot of love. I bring it. I'm spicy, but I am sweet too. So.
Well, we appreciate that.
Yeah.
You know what? Honestly, this was a lot of fun.
It was. I had a good time.
Yeah,
this is great.
And as contentious as some parts get, it's like fun. We're here to learn and have a good conversation and enjoy each other's company. So thank you for coming out.
Thank you for having me.